Hey out there in the Wookiverse, how's everybody doing today? So today we're just going to do a real quick review on this cheap tent I picked up at Walmart last year for the season before we really got into all the lockdowns, let's say. And this year I put this tent up just before Memorial Day. We slept out in it a couple times just to see how it would do, and I've left it up for pretty much the entire season now. And where I live on this island, we're always getting hit with winds, and this one has stood up to just about everything that we've had this summer. We just had a major storm that knocked power out for a while, and we were getting gusts between 80 and 90 miles per hour, and I didn't do anything to this tent other than a regular setup. And the only thing that happened to it really was that a few of the pegs come unloose. You know, they pulled up out of the ground, mainly because the wind was hitting it from this side. And, you know, that was no big deal. Had it been set up for a real storm, I probably would have double pegged it out and probably would have put a huge tarp over it, which I do have for it. But for the most part, this stood up to all the crazy weather we got this summer. Yeah, it's a pretty good size tent. It's a big family size tent. As you can see, you know, some of these retention straps loosened up because the ground wasn't always the best out here, and it wasn't set up to be permanent, just set up to be kind of temporary thing, but it stayed out longer, and I decided I'd see how long I'd leave it up and how it stood up to all the weather conditions that we had this summer. And I was actually surprised, for being less than $100, how well this tent actually stood up. So as you see, it's the Ozark Trail's 8-person modified dome tent. Comes all the basic stuff, you know, carry bag, everything else. There is a sheet out here that's attached. Yes, pretty much a welcome mat. But we've gone through, like you can see, all the weather conditions. And I have to say, I am pretty surprised. So we'll go inside. It's got 2 doors, one on either side. They do the same thing. There are, you know, window coverings to keep the screens so you can close up at night, get a little privacy. Inside, we've got screens everywhere. The entire top of the dome is nothing but screen. Yeah, pockets. Quite a few places throughout the tent to organize, plus a media pocket that you can move around. And you know, there are a few puddles, but some of these puddles are pretty much through capillary action, because I had put the tarp underneath and I didn't really set it up as a footprint like I should have. So the water got underneath, and some of the gear that was in here was pressing down and causing it to push through the bottom of the tent. And I think some of this over here happened to be where the tent pegs let go, and where the wind was coming in, I think it kind of just blew up the top a little bit, and this came in through the screening. The rain came in through the screen because that was the way that the wind was facing and blowing all the moisture in. So, you know, it got to be a pretty good puddle. As you can see, about 3/8 of an inch deep. Pretty good size. But again, that's sitting in a depression, so there could be a lot of capillary action happening with that again too. But like I said, for the most part, with no tarp or anything other than the rain fly that comes with it, this tent held up amazingly well. So I'm going to probably be breaking it down today, drying it out, and then getting it packed up and ready to go. So, you know, sometimes you never know. You never know what you find. You never know what you get. You know, like I said, with this one, I could put a tarp on it and it would dry it, keep it really dry. And then I could use bigger stakes, double stakes. There's all different kinds of techniques I could use to actually keep this from going anywhere. There's my hound. She just likes being in the backyard, and that's her little doggy tent that we usually set up inside for the pups when we go camping. They kind of like the idea of having their own little space. So that's got to dry out a little bit. And yeah, they really like that. That fits in one end, and they can get a real good time with that. They just curl up together and they're set for the night. So anyway, here's what we got going. Everybody knows how this works. You know, hit the like, thumbs up, hit the bells, subscribe, share, comment. You know how all this stuff works. It's YouTube. Anyway, hope you got a little information out of this. And like I said, it's really not a bad tent for less than $100. You know, you go out and you get a couple tarps for a footprint, another one for over the top. Yeah, and you do pretty good. This sets up for, you know, 2 people and 2 dogs real comfortably. And it says sleeps 8. It's got a pretty good high center so I can actually stand up in it. And yeah, everybody's pretty happy with it. It's a good overall tent. You know, yeah, there are a lot better ones out there, but if you're doing the whole budget thing, this one will work. Anyway, it's the Wookie. I'll talk with you later. All right.